Hello everyone, welcome to this grade 8 maths video about exponents. Let's jump straight into it. So when we are talking about exponents, the most important thing that you're going to need to remember is the laws of exponents, which are these ones here. So you'll usually have this on a page in your book, and I know it's tedious guys, but you have to learn these rules off by heart. You will use them all the time. You definitely use them grade 8 and all the way till matric. And if you do something STEM-based, then definitely in university too. So make sure, get them drilled into your head now. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. So let's go through. Obviously, once you've learned all these laws, then the kind of questions you're going to get are like these. So simplify 3 to the power 4 times 3 squared. Okay, so all we have to do is use our laws of exponents. So if we look at the laws of exponents, this products rule has kind of a similar form. And what they basically say is when you're multiplying two terms where they have the same base, so 3 and 3, you can just add the exponents. Okay, so if we just make a note here, just so you know, so we're using the product rule, which means we can go 3 to the power of 4 times 3 squared is the same as saying 3, 4, add 2. And then we can add that. And so we're going to get 3 to the power of 6. And that is our final answer. So you can see it really is very straightforward once you know the law. But obviously, if you didn't know the law, you're not going to have anything that you can do there, really. Let's look at another one. Question 2. So simplify this one. So we can look at our laws again. And we can see it is very similar to this power rule. So we can say then our power rule, I'm just rewriting it just so we're kind of recapping it as we go. So a to the power of m to the power of n means we go a m times n. So in this case, we have x to the power of 5, that whole thing squared, which means we're going to have x 5 times 2. And so we end up with x to the power of 10. Okay, so again, really straightforward if you know the rule. Question 3, simplify 7 to the power of 0 and 2 to the power of 3. They're making it kind of seem tricky here because you've got a base of 7 and a base of 2, so maybe you're a little bit worried at first. But this 7 to the power of 0 is, I think it's called zero law, zero exponent. So anything to the power of 0 is 1. So that is what we're going to use here. So we can say 7 to the power of 0 is just 1, because anything to the power of 0 is 1. And so this expression becomes 7 to the power of 0 is just 1, 2 to the power of 3. So we could leave it just as that, because we are working with exponents. Or if they asked you to then work it out, you could say 2 to the power of 3 is 1, and 2 to the power of 3 is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Which we could then say is 9. It really depends how far they ask you to go and kind of how many marks there are, what they're asking you, because you could also then say 9 is equal to 3 squared. So see, sometimes they will say, leave your answer with a base of 3, so then this would be your answer. Sometimes they're going to say, give a value, so that would be 9. And sometimes they would just say, simplify as far as you can, and that could be just that. But really, this question was just trying to show you this zero rule. Okay, question 4. Simplify 5 to the power of 6 divided by 5 squared. We are using our quotient law for this one. So that is when we divide two terms with the same base and different exponents or same exponents, we can simply subtract the exponents. So question 5. sorry, question 4, we can go 5 to the power of 6 divided by 5 squared is 5. 6 take away 2. 6 take away 2 is 4, so 5 to the power of 4. And that is our final answer for that one. Question 5, simplify this. So this one we are using our negative exponent law. Which is simply if you have a negative exponent, so you have one, so if we have like a to the negative m, you can just rewrite it as 1 over a to the positive m. So if you use it in this case, so they say simplify. I think really the wording would be write this with a positive exponent, or usually in a question, that is the final step. So they'll say work this out and then leave your answer with positive exponents. Okay, so all you would have to do is this is 4 to the power of negative 2, which is the same as saying 1 over 4 to the power of positive 2. This is a really important law. So this law, negative exponent law, you will use that every single question with exponents because they're always going to ask you, the final step of every question will be write it as positive exponents. Question 6. They're just starting to combine a few laws now to test if we can do a few steps in one. So we can see here we have got, first of all, that part is this law, a to the m is a to the m times n. So we're going to use that first. And then we're also going to use the quotient law here. So that is a to the m divided by a to the n. We can just subtract their exponents. Okay, so you can see they don't give you these laws of exponents. You have to be able to pick them up straight away. What law do I need to use? And let me do it. So let's go into it. First of all, 2 to the power of 3 squared, that is going to become 2 to the power of 3 times 2, which is 2 to the power of 6. So that is that first part. And then what we are doing is we are going to say 2 to the power of 6 divided by 2 to the power of 4, which is the same as saying 2 to the 6 minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2, so 2 squared. So that is our final answer for that one. Okay, and that is all the questions that we are doing in this video. I hope this helped you get a bit of a better understanding of the exponents you're going to be looking at in grade 8, particularly the laws of exponents. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions or any other videos you'd like me to have a look at.